The pandemic put resources at a minimum this year for many people, from grocery store items to even losing money. That lack also impacted the homeless and sparked an even greater need for shelters. A man is in jail tonight after robbing an Econo Lodge in West Macon last night. 32-year-old Bakari Donaldson was taken into custody. More than 600,000 people remain without power across Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas in the wake of Hurricane Delta. The South saw some severe weather this week, with deadly tornadoes touching down in parts of Alabama and Georgia. The storms wrecked homes, tore down power lines, and left at least 5 people dead. Now, hitting 100 years old is a pretty big milestone. While this Jones County woman isn't quite there yet, Suzanne Lawler shows you how this 99-year-old enjoys spending every day giving back to others. So if you ever come face to face with one, which I hope you never do, you're supposed to make yourself big, make lots of noise, and back away from the animal slowly. Now, Austin, could you do that? I mean, I think that would just go out of my mind if I ever came across a black bear.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to come across one. Also, if you see a bear cub, you know that the mama bear is around.
Check this out. A Marietta 12-year-old is about 2 semesters away from being a college graduate. I mean, that's an interesting take on coronavirus.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite take on coronavirus, and you put it into dessert form. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, eating it, I guess. Mike, and you can still see pieces from the victim's truck and the suspect's red car here on the corner of River City Casino Boulevard and South Broadway Street. The victim's truck actually ended up in this tree, and if you just take a look, you can see just how forceful that impact was. Kelly, Mike, we started to feel the sleet come down just before 4, but now it's starting to feel like it's turning into a mix of everything. And I was talking to Craig Yost from his hospital room when he paused, looked at the TV, and saw footage of the destruction here at the Edwardsville Amazon warehouse. Police are pleading with the public for help, and not just the usual call for tips. Investigators say someone may know the person responsible without even realizing it. Also, in a statement, the Ethical Society of Police described him as being a loyal friend, a fearless guardian, and an inspiration to us all. They say deputies found Kylie Kennedy shot to death on Wednesday morning, and now 2 16-year-old boys are in juvenile custody, each facing a second-degree murder charge. When I asked Hutchins to confirm whether those were in fact marijuana plants, all he could say was that it sure looked like it and it sure smelled like it, but of course all of this is under investigation. These families deal with a lot of stress with having to relocate to a new country, so this event is for the kids, so they could just be kids.
$1,000.
Tony Eggerson has 3 days to pay that amount, according to the Pleasant View Garden apartment notice posted on Friday, threatening eviction, and she wasn't the only one.
It says that I have a balance of $2,135. When I go on the portal, I have a balance of $0.
It's like they would tell you, oh, you got 3 days or whatever like that, but then it's like, but you gave it to us on a day where you're not even open.
On top of these notices, many of the tenants say they've reported mold and leaks for months with no response from management.
The leaking from the top apartment came down into my apartment, which I had to sit coolers around in my house.
We knocked on the leasing office door to get answers. We really want to get a statement from you guys. You have a lot of residents out here really mad. Any explanation as to why these notices went out? No answer from management. Even as some residents left the office, they were quick to shut the door in our face.
They're not telling us anything.
More than 80 tenants received notices to pay outstanding balances within 3 days. They're either up to date on rent, waiting for rental assistance, or behind on rent.
I went in there, gave my story. I told them I don't owe anything. They told me, okay, we'll write your number. We'll call you back on Friday. And that's all I got.
Through all the confusion, Lazarus Israel says one message is clear.
Don't live here, you know what I'm saying? Don't live here.
In Ferguson, Pepper Baker, 5 on your side. A Ukrainian flag hangs in front of Kevin and Tiffany Kondracki's home in Arnold, Missouri, showing support for their daughter Kira's home country.
We had decided to adopt when we saw a picture of Kira on Facebook.
After hosting Kira in summer of 2018, they worked with an adoption agency that had a Ukrainian facilitator on staff named Serge Zevlever.
And we really loved the fact that he lived here in Missouri. You know, he's here and he's there. And so we've already had that connection with him, and we felt like we already knew him.
After a difficult, almost year-long process, they were finally able to officially adopt Kira in 2019 when she was 13 years old.
He sent us a picture of him and her, thumbs up, and he called me and he says, "She's yours."
Carolyn Miller, who also lives in Arnold, handled most of the paperwork for her daughter Elise's adoption before meeting Zev Lever in Kyiv in 2007.
He drove us the 9.5 hours to Zaporozhye, which is in the eastern part of Ukraine, where we got to meet her. As soon as we met her, it was like God just said, "Here's your daughter."
There were obstacles along the way, but Miller says they were no match to Zev Lever's dedication.
He was a pit bull in getting things done. He intimidated my husband and I a little bit, but to see him with her was a whole different story.
On Sunday morning, the Kondrakis and Millers found out Zev Lever died fighting for his home country as Russian soldiers invaded Ukraine.
Before, I've never felt that anger for that country to be in there and to just senselessly just kill him.
I pray for the many more children that could have had homes had this not happened.
These two families had never met before this moment. Now they sit together, bonded by the memory of the man who changed their lives forever.
We can't have kids of our own, and he gave us a daughter.
He gave us a wonderful gift that we got to have Elise in our family because of how much he fought for us.